You scroll and scroll, and with each swipe, something inside you dies a little more. Their vacation in Bali, their promotion, their perfect relationship, their flawless skin, their seemingly effortless success. And there you are, sitting in your ordinary room in your ordinary life, feeling extraordinarily small. You close the app, but the damage is done. The poison has entered your bloodstream. The comparison has already begun its work, eating away at your peace, your contentment, your very sense of self. Sound familiar? You're not alone in this suffering. You're participating in the most ancient form of human torment, the relentless measuring of your inner world against someone else's highlight reel. But here's what the ancient Stoics knew that we've forgotten. Comparison isn't just stealing your happiness. It's murdering your soul. Listen to me carefully. Every moment you spend comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20, you're not living your life. You're living in the shadow of someone else's existence. You wake up in the morning and instead of asking, "How can I grow today?" you ask, "How do I measure up today?" Instead of looking inward for your own definition of success, you're looking outward for validation that will never come. Because here's the cruel truth about comparison. It's a game you can never win. There will always be someone prettier, richer, smarter, more accomplished. Always. And even if you reach the top of one mountain, your mind will immediately find another peak to climb, another person to measure yourself against. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does." He understood something profound. Your suffering doesn't come from your circumstances. It comes from your obsession with everyone else's circumstances. But let's dig deeper. Because comparison doesn't just make you unhappy, it makes you a stranger to yourself. When you're constantly looking sideways at what others have, you stop looking inward at who you are. You lose touch with your own values, your own dreams, your own definition of a life well lived. You become a ghost haunting someone else's life while your own life sits empty, unlived, unexplored. Think about it. How many decisions have you made not because they felt right to you, but because they looked impressive to others? How many dreams have you abandoned not because they weren't worth pursuing, but because they didn't measure up to someone else's achievements? How many moments of genuine joy have you missed because you were too busy calculating whether your joy was as valid as theirs? This is the real tragedy of comparison. It doesn't just steal your happiness, it steals your authenticity. The ancient Stoics had a different way. Epictetus, who spent years as a slave before becoming one of history's greatest philosophers, taught this revolutionary idea. Wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants. He understood that true wealth, true happiness, isn't about having more than others. It's about needing less from the external world for your internal peace. But we've got it backwards. We think happiness comes from accumulation. More followers, more money, more recognition, more. And so we measure our worth by how much more we have than the person next to us. But the Stoics knew, external things are not the source of happiness. Your relationship with external things is the source of happiness. When you stop needing to have more than others, you start appreciating what you have. When you stop needing to be better than others, you start becoming better for yourself. Here's what happens when you break free from the comparison trap. You wake up in the morning and instead of checking how your life measures against others, you check in with yourself. Am I growing? Am I living according to my values? Am I becoming who I want to become? These become your metrics, not their metrics, yours. You start celebrating your small victories without needing them to be bigger than someone else's victories. You start pursuing your dreams not because they'll impress others, but because they're authentically yours. You start finding joy in your ordinary Tuesday without needing it to look like someone else's extraordinary Saturday. This is what the Stoics called living according to nature. Your nature, not society's expectations, not your neighbor's achievements, but your own authentic path. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "Remember that very little disturbs the wise man. What did he mean by this? The wise person understands that other people's successes don't diminish your potential. Their happiness doesn't subtract from your happiness. Their good fortune doesn't mean less good fortune for you. Life isn't a zero-sum game where someone else's win automatically means your loss, but comparison tricks you into thinking it is. Comparison whispers, if they're successful, you're not. If they're beautiful, you're not. If they're happy, you can't be. This is the lie that's killing your peace. The truth is this: your happiness has nothing to do with anyone else's happiness. Your success has nothing to do with anyone else's success. Your worth has nothing to do with anyone else's worth. So how do you break free? You start by recognizing that what you're seeing isn't the whole story. That perfect life you're envying. You're seeing the highlight reel, not the behind-the-scenes struggle. That success you're measuring yourself against? You don't know the sacrifices they made, the prices they paid, the parts of themselves they had to give up to get there. You're comparing your inner world, with all its messiness, doubt, and struggle, to their outer world, carefully curated and strategically presented. It's not a fair comparison. It's not even a real comparison. The Stoics taught something revolutionary. You are not competing with anyone except who you were yesterday. Your only job is to become a better version of yourself, not a better version compared to them. Just better, compared to who you used to be. This shifts everything. Instead of asking, am I successful enough? You ask, am I more successful than I was last year? Instead of asking, am I happy enough? You ask, am I happier than I was last month? Instead of asking, am I good enough? You ask, am I better than I was yesterday? This is the path to peace. This is the path to authentic happiness. This is the path to a life that belongs to you and no one else. You have a choice to make. Every single day you have a choice. You can wake up and immediately start measuring your life against others. You can scroll through their updates, their achievements, their seemingly perfect moments, and let that comparison poison your peace. Or, you can wake up and measure your life against your own potential. You can ask yourself what growth looks like today. You can pursue your own definition of a meaningful life. The Stoics understood, true freedom isn't having everything you want. True freedom is wanting what you have and becoming who you're meant to be. When you stop competing with everyone else's story, you finally get to live your own. And that story, your story, is the only one that truly matters. So close the app. Stop the scrolling. Stop the comparing. Your life is waiting. Your authentic, beautiful, imperfect, uniquely yours life is waiting, and it's time you started living it.